Jack Miller adjusted his headset and checked his streaming setup one last time. His small apartment on Europa Station was designed for practicality, not comfort. The walls were covered with space combat memorabilia, model ships, old flight suits, and pictures from his military days. Outside his viewport, Jupiter's massive form dominated the sky. "Going live in 5, 4, 3, he mumbled to himself, clicking the broadcast button. His profile image flashed on screen, then transitioned to his face. At 38, Jack still had the sharp eyes and quick reflexes of his pilot days, though a scar across his left cheek told stories his viewers often asked about. "Hey everyone, welcome back to Miller Time," he said with practiced ease. "Today we got something special. Just got early access to the newest Squadron 42 update, and let me tell you, the graphics are insane." Comments immediately flooded the chat. Asterisk Nebula Rider 99. "No way. How'd you get early access?" Asterisk. Asterisk Space Cadet 2157. "The last version already looked real. This must be incredible." Asterisk. Asterisk Flight Sim Queen. "My brother works for the developer and didn't even get access yet." Asterisk. Jack smiled, reading some comments aloud. "How'd I get access? Let's just say I know people who know people. Old Squadron buddies end up everywhere." He tapped a sequence on his console, and the screen switched to what appeared to be a cockpit view of an advanced fighter craft. The detail was remarkable. Every switch, display, and control surface perfectly rendered. Outside the virtual cockpit, stars shone against the blackness of space, with a ringed gas giant visible in the distance. "They've completely rebuilt the physics engine," Jack explained as he grabbed a control stick and seemed to maneuver the ship. "Watch how the thrusters realistically adjust for drift. And check out these new weapon systems." The view showed the ship approaching what looked like a space station. Other fighters with Earth Defense Force markings moved in formation around him. "Look at the light reflecting off the hull plating. And the station details. You can practically see people moving inside the windows," Jack said, his voice carrying genuine amazement. The viewer count climbed rapidly, reaching numbers Jack hadn't seen before. Something about this broadcast was drawing unusual attention. "This mission is a border patrol scenario, very topical with the current tensions," Jack explained. "Squad, form up on my wing," he said, seemingly speaking to AI teammates. The responses that came through his headset were surprisingly natural. "Copy that. Lead. Moving to position Alpha. Patrol pattern established. Sensors at maximum range." Jack's brow furrowed slightly. The voice acting seemed better than any game he'd played before. Suddenly, the radar display in the cockpit lit up with multiple contacts. "Unidentified vessels at Mark 227. Came a tense female voice from his headset, not responding to hails. Jack hadn't triggered this scenario. His hands tightened on the controls. "This is new," he said to his audience. "Must be a random encounter feature." The chat exploded with excitement. Asterisk Cosmic Gamer 42. "Those ship designs look Phyrexian. Are they adding the aliens to this version?" Asterisk. Asterisk Star Comment. "The detail on those alien ships is incredible." Asterisk. Asterisk Deep Space Strategist. "Those formations aren't game AI. They're using actual military tactics." Asterisk. On screen, what appeared to be alien vessels moved with strange fluid precision. Their hulls had an organic quality, with blue energy pulsing through vein-like patterns. "Squadron 42, this is Commander Reeves," came a firm female voice. "We are observing Phyrexian battle formations consistent with attack patterns. Hold position and await orders while I contact headquarters." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. He hadn't selected any mission parameters. The game seemed to be running itself. "Guys, I'm not controlling this scenario," he said quietly. "I think something's wrong with my..." A proximity alarm blared. On screen, the alien ships accelerated toward the human formation. "Defensive positions. They're powering weapons," shouted the commander's voice. Jack's hands moved automatically to the controls, muscle memory from his real combat days taking over. As the first energy blasts lit up the screen, his viewer count hit 1 million, a record for gaming streams. But deep down, Jack was beginning to suspect this wasn't a game at all. Commander Samantha Reeves stood on the bridge of the EDF Valiant, her posture rigid as she studied the star map. At 42, she had the confident bearing of someone who had earned her rank through merit and battle experience. Her dark hair was pulled back in a regulation bun, and her uniform bore the distinguished patches of Squadron 42. "Status report," she said, her voice clear and direct. Lieutenant Lisa Cooper looked up from her console. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she brought up the sensor readings. "All systems nominal, Commander. We've reached the border checkpoint. No unusual activity detected in this sector." Samantha nodded. "Good. Let's proceed with standard patrol pattern. I want all sensors at maximum range." The Valiant was the command ship for Squadron 42, one of the most elite units in the Earth Defense Force. Their primary mission was to patrol the border between human and Vrixian space, making sure the peace treaty signed after the First Contact War remained unbroken. In the fighter bay below, Ethan Wright ran his hand over the smooth hull of his Raptor-class fighter. At 36, Ethan was the squadron's tactical specialist, with more combat experience than anyone except the commander herself. A faded scar ran from his right temple down to his jawline, a reminder of a close call during the war. "She'll hold together fine," said a voice behind him. Ethan turned to see Alan Jackson, the squad's newest member. At just 24, Alan was the youngest pilot ever assigned to Squadron 42, his natural talent having caught the attention of the highest levels of command. "It's not about holding together," Ethan replied. "It's about knowing every bolt and circuit. When you're in the black and things go wrong, you need to feel your ship, not just fly it." Alan nodded, trying to appear respectful, though his eyes betrayed his impatience to get into space. "I've logged over 3,000 hours in simulation." "Simulation," Ethan repeated with a slight smile. "Well, out here, the Vrixians don't follow the programmed patterns." The ship's comm system crackled to life. "All pilots to stations. Prepare for patrol deployment." In the ready room, the pilots suited up. Besides Ethan and Alan, there was Lisa Cooper, who doubled as both a fighter pilot and the squadron's sensor specialist. The fourth member was Carlos Diaz, the weapons expert whose aim was legendary throughout the fleet. Commander Reeves entered, and everyone stood at attention. "At ease," she said. "Today's patrol takes us along Section 12 of the border. Intelligence reports suggest increased Vrixian activity in neighboring sectors. Our job is observation only. We document, we report, and we do not engage unless absolutely necessary. Is that clear?" "Yes, Commander," they responded in unison. "Jackson," she added, looking directly at Alan, "you'll fly wing position with Wright. Follow his lead and don't get creative." Alan nodded. "Understood, Commander." 20 minutes later, the 4 fighters of Squadron 42 launched from the Valiant. Their ships were the newest model Raptor-class fighters, sleek and deadly, equipped with both human and reverse-engineered Vrixian technology. They formed up in standard patrol formation and accelerated toward the border. The vast emptiness of space surrounded them, broken only by distant stars and the occasional asteroid. "Stay sharp," Samantha's voice came through their comms. "We're approaching the Tav City checkpoint." The pilots acknowledged and adjusted their course. For nearly an hour, they patrolled in silence, sensors sweeping the darkness for any sign of activity. "Commander," he said, checking his readings twice, "I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations at coordinates 227 Mark 45. "Confirmed," Lisa added. "Definitely not natural. Pattern suggests Vrixian power signatures, but they're different somehow." Samantha frowned. "Change course to investigate, but maintain safe distance. Weapons on standby only." The squadron altered course toward the anomaly. As they drew closer, their sensors began to provide more detail. "Multiple vessels," Lisa reported, her voice tense. "They're using some kind of stealth technology we haven't seen before. That's why they appeared as energy fluctuations at first. On their displays, the outlines of ships began to take shape. The designs were unmistakably Phyrexian, organic-looking hulls with glowing blue energy patterns flowing through them like veins. "I count at least 12 vessels," Ethan said, "including what appears to be a capital ship. This isn't a patrol, it's a battle group." "Why would they bring a battle group to an uninhabited system?" Alan asked. As if in answer to his question, the sensors detected a massive power buildup from the Phyrexian capital ship. "Evasive maneuvers," Samantha ordered, "and send everything we're seeing back to EDF headquarters." Alan Jackson's fighter drifted slightly closer to the Phyrexian ships than ordered. His curiosity overwhelmed his caution as he tried to get better sensor readings of the alien vessels. The Phyrexian ships were unlike anything in the training manuals. Their hulls seemed to shift and pulse, as if the metal itself was alive. "Jackson, pull back to formation," Commander Reeves ordered sharply. "You're getting too close." "Just one more moment, Commander," Alan said. "I'm detecting something unusual on the largest ship. It looks like—" A bright blue light suddenly flashed from the nearest Phyrexian scout ship. Alan's sensors screamed warnings as a scanning beam washed over his fighter. "They've spotted us," Ethan called out. "Evasive maneuvers." The Phyrexian ships turned in unison, their movements fluid and coordinated like a school of fish. Blue energy built up along their hulls as weapon systems charge. "Squadron 42, we've been compromised," Commander Reeves said, her voice steady despite the danger. "Fall back to defensive position Delta. Lisa, make sure all our sensor data is transmitting back to headquarters." Lisa's fingers flew across her controls. "Transmitting now, Commander. But they're trying to jam our signals." The first energy blast from a Phyrexian cruiser streaked past Ethan's fighter, missing by meters. The space around them lit up as more alien weapons fired. Commander Reeves faced a critical decision. Standard protocol demanded they retreat and report. But if they fled now, the Phyrexian battle group would have free rein to advance toward the human colonies in the next system. "Commander, we're outnumbered 4-1. Carlos reminded her. "We should fall back." Samantha studied her tactical display. The Phyrexian ships were arranging themselves in attack formation. They were preparing to jump to the Aldrin colony. "Negative," she decided firmly. "If they reach Aldrin, thousands of civilians will die before reinforcements arrive. We're going to engage and delay them as long as possible." "With just 4 fighters against their fleet?" Lisa asked. "Sometimes the best defense is a surprising offense," Samantha replied. "New plan. Combat pattern Omega. Target their lead vessels. If we can disrupt their formation, we might buy enough time for EDF to send reinforcements." The 4 fighters broke formation, their engines glowing bright as they accelerated toward the Phyrexian ships. Ethan and Carlos targeted the lead cruiser, while Samantha and Lisa went after the support ships. Alan, however, had noticed something the others hadn't. "Commander, the large ship in the back is charging something big. The energy readings are off the charts. Can you get closer for a better scan?" Samantha asked. "Affirmative," Alan replied, banking his fighter sharply away from the main battle. Ethan and Carlos commenced their attack run on the lead cruiser. Their fighters danced through enemy fire, releasing a barrage of missiles. The Phyrexian ship's defenses caught most of them, but 2 missiles struck home, causing blue energy to spill from the damaged hull. "Direct hit," Carlos shouted. Meanwhile, Lisa and Samantha engaged the smaller Phyrexian ships, using the superior maneuverability of their human fighters to stay ahead of the alien weapons. Lisa's targeting systems locked onto a power node on one of the enemy ships. "Firing now," she said calmly, releasing a precision strike. The explosion cascaded through the alien vessel, disabling its weapons. Ellen pushed his fighter to maximum speed, circling wide around the battle to approach the mysterious larger ship from behind. As he drew closer, his sensors provided clearer data. "Commander, I'm detecting enormous power readings. This isn't a regular battleship," he reported. "It's some kind of weapons platform. There's a massive cannon being charged. Target calculations suggest Earth. They're building enough power to hit Earth from here." "That's impossible," Ethan said. "No weapon has that range." "The readings don't lie," Allen insisted. "And they're at 70% charge already." Commander Reeves quickly reassessed their priorities. "New objective. We need to disable that weapon. All fighters converge on the platform ship. Use everything we've got." The 4 fighters disengaged from their current targets and turned toward the massive Vryxian weapon platform. Enemy fire intensified as the aliens realized the humans had discovered their true purpose. "They've surrounded the platform with their best ships," Lisa observed. "We'll need to punch through their defenses first." "Then that's what we'll do," Samantha said firmly. "Squadron 42, form up on me. We're going in." Jack's stream had gone viral. His viewer count was now over 3 million, the highest in streaming history. The chat moved so fast that individual messages were barely readable, just a blur of excitement and confusion. "This has to be the most realistic game ever made," Jack said, still maintaining the pretense that he was playing a game. But doubt crept into his voice as he watched the battle unfold on his screen. In his apartment on Earth, Ben Hayes, a college student with dreams of joining the EDF, watched Jack's stream with growing suspicion. Unlike most viewers, Ben had a father who worked in military communications. The ships, the tactical displays, the communication chatter, it all looked too authentic to be a game. Ben sent a message to his father. "Dad, check out this stream. I think someone's broadcasting real military footage." Across the planet, similar realizations were dawning. In a small office at EDF Intelligence Headquarters, analyst Karen Martinez was alerted to the stream by an automated system designed to detect leaked classified information. She almost spilled her coffee when she saw what was happening. "Sir," she called to her supervisor, "you need to see this now." General William Harris walked over to her station, his face darkening as he watched the stream. "How the hell is this being broadcast? Get me a secure line to Europa station security immediately." Back on Jack's stream, viewers watched as Squadron 42 engaged in combat with the Vryxian fleet. The battle was unlike anything they had ever seen in a game. The physics were perfect, the tactics unpredictable, the danger palpable. "Look at those maneuvers," Jack commented, his military experience allowing him to appreciate the skill on display. "That's not programmed AI. No game could simulate combat this realistic." His suspicions grew stronger when he noticed that his controller inputs weren't matching the actions on screen. He wasn't playing anything. He was simply receiving and broadcasting a feed. Karen quickly assembled a team to trace the source of the broadcast. "The signal is being routed through multiple relays," she told General Harris. "Someone hacked into Miller's stream to use it as a distribution channel." "Shut it down," ordered the general. "It's not that simple, sir," Karen replied. "The hack is sophisticated. If we cut it abruptly, we might lose the intelligence coming from Squadron 42. Their data feed is embedded in the same transmission." In his apartment, Jack received a private message on a secure channel, a channel he hadn't used since leaving the military. "Captain Miller, this is EDF Intelligence. You are broadcasting classified military operations. Do not acknowledge this message on stream. We are working to resolve the situation. Continue as normal to avoid mass panic." Jack swallowed hard, but kept his expression neutral for his audience. "These ship designs are incredible," he said, playing along. "The attention to detail in this game is unreal." Meanwhile, Karen dug deeper into the hack. "Sir, I found something. The broadcast isn't just showing the battle. It's showing it to specific people. The algorithm is targeting viewers with military experience, defense contractors, and influential media personalities." Someone wants this information public, General Harris realized. But why? On Europa Station, security personnel were approaching Jack's apartment. They moved quietly, hoping to contain the situation without alerting his viewers. In the chat, military experts were already picking apart what they were seeing. Asterisk retired pilot 67. Those aren't game mechanics. That's actual EDF combat protocol asterisk. Asterisk defense analyst. The Vrixians have stealth tech now. This changes everything asterisk. Asterisk military historian. If that weapon can hit Earth from that distance, no colony is safe asterisk. Jack noticed these comments and his face paled. If what he was broadcasting was real, humanity was witnessing a pivotal moment in history disguised as entertainment. The security team reached Jack's door and prepared to breach. General Harris watched from Earth, torn between stopping the leak and letting valuable information reach the public. The decision was taken out of his hands when a message appeared on Karen's screen. Ho ve or id alpha. Bro dkastivs huoing nuis. Authorization. Admiral Stephen Grant, EDF High Command. Karen turned to General Harris in shock. Sir, this comes from above you. Someone high up wants this shown. The general's jaw tightened. Find out who's behind this. Now. On Jack's stream, the battle continued to unfold, with millions now watching humanity's finest pilots fight against impossible odds, still believing it was just an incredibly realistic game. Squadron 42 faced overwhelming odds. The Vrixian fleet surrounded them, 12 alien ships against their 4 fighters. The massive weapon platform continued charging its planet-killer weapon, now at 85%. We need a plan, Lisa said, her voice steady despite the danger. Direct assault won't work. Commander Reeves studied the tactical display. The asteroid field at coordinates 115. We can use it for cover and to break up their formation. The 4 fighters changed course, heading toward a dense field of space rocks. The Vrixian ships followed, their organic-looking hulls glowing brighter as they charged weapons. They're faster in open space, but our fighters are more maneuverable, Ethan said. We can use that. Inside the asteroid field, Squadron 42 split into pairs. Samantha and Lisa took the left flank, while Ethan and Alan took the right. The Vrixian ships slowed as they entered the field, their large size making navigation difficult. Now, Commander Reeves ordered. The human fighters darted between asteroids, firing precise shots at the lead Vrixian ships. Their smaller size allowed them to slip through gaps the aliens couldn't follow. Alan spotted a weakness. The Vrixian ships can't turn quickly after firing their main weapons. There's a 3-second window. Use it, Samantha ordered. Alan's fighter spun in a tight maneuver that would be impossible for most pilots. He fired directly at a Vrixian cruiser just after it shot at Lisa. The cruiser couldn't adjust in time, and Alan's missiles struck its engine section. The alien ship spun out of control, crashing into an asteroid. One down, Alan called. Meanwhile, Lisa had identified the weapon platform's defensive pattern. Commander, they rotate their shield coverage. There's a brief moment when sections are exposed. Can we exploit it? Samantha asked. Yes, but we'll need perfect timing and someone to draw their fire. Lisa replied. Ethan's fighter took a hit from an energy beam. Warning lights flashed in his cockpit as systems failed. My ship is damaged, he reported calmly. Weapons at 40%, shields critical. Pull back, Ethan, Samantha ordered. Negative, Commander, he replied. I can still fly. And I have an idea. Before anyone could stop him, Ethan accelerated toward the largest concentration of Vrixian ships. His damaged fighter weaved through enemy fire, drawing the aliens' attention. Cover Ethan, Samantha ordered. Lisa, prepare to strike the weapon platform when its shields shift. Carlos and Alan focused their fire on any Vrixian ship targeting Ethan. Their skilled shooting destroyed 2 more alien vessels, but the odds remained heavily against them. Lisa positioned her fighter for the critical shot. Ready, Commander. Waiting for the shield rotation. Ethan's fighter took another hit. His right engine exploded, sending his ship spinning. Stabilizers failing, he reported, his voice tight with pain. But I've got their full attention. The Vrixian ships concentrated on finishing Ethan, leaving the weapon platform momentarily vulnerable. Its shields shifted exactly as Lisa had predicted. Now, Lisa shouted, firing everything she had at the exposed section. Her missiles flew true, striking the platform's power core. Secondary explosions bloomed along its surface. The weapon's charge dissipated as systems failed. Direct hit, Lisa called, weapon power levels dropping. But victory came at a cost. A Vrixian destroyer fired a concentrated beam at Ethan's crippled fighter. His shields failed completely. Ethan, Samantha called. It's okay, Commander, he replied calmly. My systems are gone. No way out of this one. Instead of trying to escape, Ethan directed his failing fighter straight toward the wounded weapon platform. Always wanted to go out with a bang, he said. Alan tried to follow. I can help him. Negative, Jackson, Samantha ordered. Hold position. They watched as Ethan's fighter, trailing fire and debris, accelerated toward the Vrixian weapon. The aliens tried to stop him, but their shots only hastened his ship's destruction. For Earth, Ethan said simply, before his communications cut out. His fighter crashed into the already damaged section of the platform. The explosion was massive, far bigger than a fighter should cause. He overloaded his reactor, Carlos realized. The chain reaction tore through the Vrixian weapon platform. Its organic metal hull split apart as energy cores detonated in sequence. Ethan did it, Lisa whispered. The remaining Vrixian ships began to retreat, their formation broken, their primary weapon destroyed. Commander Reeves allowed herself one moment of grief before refocusing. Squadron, regroup. Our mission isn't over yet. Jack's stream suddenly cut to black. His millions of viewers stared at blank screens. Then the chat exploded with confusion and outrage. Asterisk Game Fan 2157. What happened? Asterisk. Asterisk Spaces 99. Server crash. Right at the best part asterisk. Asterisk Military Buff 44. That was not a game. That was real combat footage asterisk. Security officers had finally entered Jack's apartment on Europa Station. They quickly secured his equipment and escorted him out. Jack didn't resist. He knew what he had been broadcasting wasn't a game, and the implications terrified him. Captain Miller, you're coming with us, said the lead officer. This is a matter of planetary security. Meanwhile on Earth, news of the stream's sudden termination spread quickly. Major networks picked up the story, running headlines like, "Most popular game stream ever mysteriously shut down," and "Was Squadron 42 too realistic?" In online forums, conspiracy theories multiplied by the minute. People who claimed to have military experience insisted that what they saw couldn't be simulated. Side-by-side comparisons of Jack's stream with known game footage showed clear differences in physics and battle tactics. At EDF headquarters, General Harris faced a storm of questions from his superiors. "The leak has been contained," he reported. "Miller is in custody, and the broadcast has been terminated." Admiral Grant, who had authorized the continued broadcast, looked unimpressed. "The damage is already done, General. Millions saw that footage." "With respect, sir, why did you allow it to continue?" Harris asked. "Because certain factions within our government wanted to hide the Vrixian threat," Admiral Grant replied. "They believe appeasing the aliens is our best option." "I disagree. The public deserves to know what we're facing." Karen Martinez worked tirelessly to trace the source of the hack. Her team had narrowed it down to an AI system designed to monitor military communications. It appears the AI determined that the Vrixian weapon posed an existential threat to Earth, she explained. It bypassed security protocols based on emergency override directives. An AI decided to leak classified information. General Harris asked incredulously. Not exactly, sir, Karen clarified. The AI was programmed to ensure critical threats weren't concealed from the public. It found Jack's stream as the fastest way to distribute the information widely. The debate over the leak continued, but public opinion had already formed. Hashtags like hashtag Squadron Heroes and hashtag RealLutGame trended worldwide. People demanded to know if Earth was truly under threat. On social media, supporters rallied behind Jack Miller. They saw him as an unwitting whistleblower who had exposed a government cover-up. His previous streams were analyzed for any hints that he might have been involved in military intelligence. Ben Hayes, the college student who had first alerted his military father about the stream, became an overnight sensation when he posted a detailed analysis of why the footage couldn't be from a game. His post was shared millions of times, adding credibility to the theories. In response to growing pressure, the EDF issued a carefully worded statement. We are investigating reports of unauthorized access to military communication systems. We cannot confirm the authenticity of the recently broadcast footage at this time. This vague response only fueled more speculation. Recruitment for the Earth Defense Force suddenly spiked, with young people inspired by what they had seen in the stream. 3 days after the broadcast, Jack sat in a secure room at EDF headquarters. He had been questioned extensively, but maintained that he had no idea how his system had been used to broadcast the battle. Do you understand the seriousness of what happened? Asked the intelligence officer interviewing him. Yes, Jack replied. But tell me one thing. Did they make it? The pilots in Squadron 42. Did they survive? The officer's expression softened slightly. That information remains classified, Captain Miller. Jack leaned forward. Those people are fighting for all of us. The public deserves to know what's happening. Perhaps, the officer conceded, but that's not your decision to make. Outside the room, Admiral Grant watched the interview on a monitor. He turned to General Harris. Prepare a press conference. It's time to tell the truth about Squadron 42. General Harris nodded solemnly. Yes, sir. And what about Miller? He's a war hero turned unwitting broadcaster, Admiral Grant said. He might be exactly what we need right now. The remaining 3 fighters of Squadron 42 faced a difficult situation. Though they had destroyed the Vrixian weapon platform, 8 enemy ships still surrounded them. Their own fighters had taken damage, and they had lost Ethan. We need to regroup, Commander Reeds ordered. Form up on my position. Lisa and Alan moved their fighters into formation. Both ships showed damage from the battle. Warning lights flashed in their cockpits, and fuel reserves were running low. Communication with EDF headquarters is still jammed, Lisa reported. We're on our own. Samantha checked her tactical display. The Vrixian ships were regrouping too, moving into a hunting formation. Without their main weapon, the aliens seemed determined to eliminate the human fighters who had humiliated them. The nearest EDF outpost is 4 hours away at maximum speed, Alan said. We can't outrun them. Then we fight, Samantha decided. But we need to be smart about it. She studied the battlefield, looking for any advantage. The remains of the destroyed weapon platform drifted nearby, along with various asteroids and debris from the battle. I have an idea, Lisa said suddenly. The Vrixians communicate using quantum entanglement. If we can disrupt that signal, they won't be able to coordinate their attacks. How do we do that? Alan asked. Lisa pointed to a specific piece of debris from the destroyed platform. That section contains their communication array. If we can reactivate it and overload it, we might create enough interference to disable their fleet coordination. That's a big gamble, Samantha said, but it's the best option we have. Lisa, you know the most about their tech. You'll lead this mission. I'll need covering fire, Lisa replied. And someone needs to get close enough to the array to manually trigger the overload. Ellen volunteered immediately. I can do it. My fighter is the least damage, and I'm the most maneuverable. Samantha nodded. Then it's settled. I'll engage the Phyrexians directly to draw their attention. Lisa, guide Alan to the communication array. They split up, each with their assigned task. Samantha's fighter charged directly at the Phyrexian formation. She fired missiles at the lead ships, then veered away sharply, drawing their fire and pursuit. Meanwhile, Lisa and Alan approached the drifting remains of the weapon platform. Lisa's sensors scanned the debris, searching for the communication array. There, she said, highlighting a section on Alan's display. That's what we need. Be careful, it might still have active defenses. Alan guided his fighter through the debris field, dodging floating pieces of the destroyed platform. His ship barely squeezed through narrow gaps between large sections of alien technology. Behind them, Samantha was engaged in a desperate battle. Her fighter darted between asteroids, using them as shields against Phyrexian weapons. She managed to destroy another enemy ship, but her own fighter was taking heavy damage. "Hurry," she called over the comm. "I can't hold them off much longer." Alan reached the communication array. It was a strange, organic-looking device with pulsing blue lights still active on its surface. "I'm in position," he reported. "What do I do now?" Lisa guided him through the process. "There should be a central node. You need to get close enough to overload it with your fighter's energy systems." Alan positioned his ship next to the array. Following Lisa's instructions, he connected his fighter's power system to the alien device. Warning lights flashed across his control panel as energy drained from his ship into the Phyrexian technology. "Power levels dropping," he reported. "Ship systems failing." "Just a little longer," Lisa urged. "The overload is building." The communication array began to pulse more rapidly. Energy coursed across its surface, growing in intensity. Samantha's fighter took a direct hit. Her right wing tore away, sending her into an uncontrolled spin. "Commander," Lisa called in alarm. "Focus on the mission," Samantha ordered, struggling to stabilize her damaged ship. Alan's fighter was now completely dark, all power diverted to overloading the alien device. The communication array glowed brighter and brighter, energy building to critical levels. "It's working," Lisa said excitedly. "Just a few more seconds." The Phyrexian ships suddenly broke off their attack on Samantha. They seemed to sense the danger to their communications. Several turned toward Alan's position, weapons charging. "They're coming for you," Samantha warned. "Get out of there now." "Too late," Alan replied calmly. "Can't move without power." But the overload is almost complete. The Phyrexian ships fired at Alan's position. Their energy weapons streaked toward his defenseless fighter and the glowing communication array. "For Ethan," Alan whispered, as the alien weapons closed in. 3 days after the stream ended, a press conference was held at EDF headquarters. News outlets from across Earth and the colonies gathered, eager to hear the official statement about what many now called the Squadron 42 incident. General Harris stepped up to the podium first. "Thank you all for coming. Today, we will address the footage that was broadcast 3 days ago during what appeared to be a gaming stream." Cameras flashed as he continued. "After careful consideration, and in the interest of transparency, we can now confirm that what viewers witnessed was not a video game. It was actual combat footage from a classified operation." The room erupted with questions. General Harris raised his hands for silence. "Please, let me continue." The footage showed Squadron 42, an elite unit of the Earth Defense Force, engaging a Phyrexian battle group that was preparing to test a long-range weapon capable of striking Earth from the outer colonies. Screens behind him displayed official images of Squadron 42's fighters, along with data about the Phyrexian threat. Due to the brave actions of Squadron 42, the weapon was destroyed before it could be used. However, this victory came at a significant cost. The general's voice grew solemn. Lieutenant Ethan Wright sacrificed his life to destroy the Phyrexian weapon platform. His courage saved countless lives, and he will be posthumously awarded the Star of Valor, our highest military honor. Images of Ethan appeared on the screens, showing him in his uniform, standing proudly beside his fighter. I will now introduce Admiral Grant, who will provide further details. Admiral Grant approached the podium. His stern face showed the weight of recent events. The broadcast you witnessed was not authorized through standard channels, he explained. An AI security system determined that certain elements within our government were attempting to conceal the Vrixian threat from the public. The AI acted according to its primary directive: to protect humanity from existential threats, including the threat of misinformation when planetary security is at stake. Murmurs spread through the crowd as reporters tried to process this revelation. As for the status of Squadron 42, the Admiral continued, I am pleased to report that despite severe injuries, Commander Samantha Reeves and Lieutenant Lisa Cooper survived the encounter. They were rescued by reinforcements that arrived after communications were restored. Relief washed over the room. Then someone called out, "What about the rookie, Alan Jackson?" Admiral Grant paused, his expression unreadable. Lieutenant Jackson's status was unknown until 12 hours ago. His fighter was believed destroyed in the final moments of the battle. The room grew quiet. However, the Admiral continued, a small smile breaking through his official demeanor. Lieutenant Jackson survived. When the Vrixian weapons converged on his position, the communication array he was overloading detonated first, creating a quantum disruption that temporarily shifted his fighter partially out of phase with normal space. This both protected him from the weapon's fire and disabled all Vrixian ships in the vicinity. Gasps and applause filled the room. Lieutenant Jackson is currently recovering at our medical facility. His unconventional thinking saved not only his own life, but those of his squadron mates as well. The doors at the back of the room opened. Jack Miller was escorted in by security officers. Admiral Grant gestured for him to join them at the podium. As for Captain Jack Miller, whose stream was used to broadcast the battle, he has been cleared of any wrongdoing. In fact, his commentary during the broadcast has proven invaluable in helping the public understand what they were witnessing. Jack stepped up to the microphone. I just want to say that the real heroes are the men and women of Squadron 42. What they did wasn't a game. It was real courage, real sacrifice, and they deserve our respect and gratitude. The press conference continued with questions from reporters, but the message was clear. Earth had faced a grave threat, and thanks to Squadron 42, humanity would live to see another day. In a hospital room nearby, Alan Jackson watched the broadcast with Samantha and Lisa at his bedside. His body was bandaged, but his spirit remained unbroken. So we're famous now? He asked with a weak smile. Looks that way, Samantha replied, placing a hand on his shoulder. How does it feel to be a hero? Alan thought of Ethan's sacrifice, of the split-second decisions they had all made in the heat of battle. It feels like we were just doing our job, he answered, like any other squadron would have done. Lisa shook her head. Not any squadron. Squadron 42. Outside the hospital, recruitment centers were flooded with young men and women inspired by what they had seen. The battle that was mistaken for a game had awakened.